folks, it has been an exciting past few weeks for me. Recently got married to the lovely Rebecca DeWitt, who is chair of the Lincoln County Republican Committee. And that's actually a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. There is a massive fight in the Republican Party across the nation. Probably the most famous one nationwide is the one in Nebraska, where the Nebraska majority GOP legislature has the ability to pass what's known as WinnerTakeAll regarding their electoral colleges for president. This would deny Joe Biden at least 1 or 2 electoral votes from the blue city of, I believe, Omaha, Nebraska, where he manages to get some electoral votes, and give it all to the Republican. In other words, it would give Donald Trump more electoral college votes, which could make the difference in the presidential election. There's other pieces of legislation going on there too regarding the LGBT agenda and other items, but the big one is the winner-take-all debate. As I understand, their legislature ended session. However, their governor can call what's known as a special session to deal with this issue. So if you know somebody in Nebraska, contact them and tell them to contact the governor there, who is a Republican. Tell them to push a special session to pass winner-take-all. Now, in a just world, actually overall nationwide, it would be better if we had electoral college votes divvied up by, I guess, either precinct or county. Because, again, most of the Democrat votes are from these Democrat stronghold urban areas, these big cities that they've run into the ground. And they probably win those by election fraud. For instance, if you look at a place like Illinois, almost the whole state is red, but there's this little blue section there in Chicago. And oftentimes, Chicago will tip the balance and end up giving those electoral college votes to the Democrats. Matter of fact, in Kennedy-Nixon, it's been proven that they use election fraud from Chicago to tip the votes there to give the votes to Kennedy. So, back to my state, Arkansas, we have been fighting against what we call rhino establishment for years regarding several issues. One of them is closed primaries. We have an upcoming state convention. The Arkansas GOP will have a state convention in July where we can pass all kinds of rules and regulations regarding how the party is run and operated. Sadly, however, it appears that the establishment is going to have a committee meeting in May where they are going to change the rules for the state convention. They are going to try to push a rule that requires a 2/3 majority in order to pass something. Now, I personally don't even see how they're able to do that, since a convention should be able to decide its own rules. So that's the first thing. But the main reason they're doing this is because that more conservatives are waking up and realizing they need to be more involved in their political process. So they are what we call the consulting class, and I'll name them: Caldwell Consulting, Impact Management, the Arkansas Chamber of Commerce, the Arkansas Municipal League, the Arkansas Association of Counties, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Tyson Foods, Walmart, the big crony capitalist, the globalist, who may have been conservative at one time but are now run by Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi types of people. They want to sabotage the efforts by conservatives in the Republican Party of Arkansas to make a difference, to make the Republican Party act like an actual Republican Party and actually reduce the size and scope of government, stand up to the liberal academia. And so they are pushing for rules to sabotage those efforts. There's another rule there that May Committee is trying to push for that will not allow committees to censure these politicians, like when Pulaski County, for instance, and several other counties censured Asa. Pass was known as not recommended for the leftist globalist known as Asa Hutchinson when he was pretending to run for president. Of course, he was only doing so to keep his name in the headlines and grift off of a few gullible donors who haven't figured out what a snake he is, and do a bash Trump, keep my name in the press presidential tour. Many people thought he was going to get a position at Walmart as an executive, but it looks like he may be becoming president of U of A, of Fayetteville, which he would be a perfect fit because most of them are globalists. And I believe 8 of the 9 people that made that decision were appointed by Asa Hutchinson. So looks like he's going to be still on the taxpayer dole, advancing socialism just like he's done before over the many years. I guess he'll just pretend to be a Christian conservative a little less. But sadly, a lot of people like him are still influencing the Republican Party. And they need to be ousted, named, kicked out. We've seen what's happened on the RNC and on national level with Ronna McDaniel, Mitt Romney's niece, who was deliberately sabotaging conservative efforts, losing elections on purpose. And her, along with about 60 other RNC members, were kicked out, either fired or forced to resign recently. But it's been a long time in coming. Should have been done years ago. And as I mentioned before, Nebraska, they have a group called the Nebraska Freedom Coalition, who during their convention before last had conservatives arrested and blocked from trying to take over that state GOP party, but yet the conservatives held fast. They held their ground. The guy that was arrested was later let go and allowed to attend the convention, and they kicked out a lot of the Rhino consultant class there. And this fight is happening all over the nation. The Wyoming GOP kicked out Liz Cheney. To make this even more specific, the Northeast Arkansas Republican Party, Tea Party group, Craighead County group, replaced the leftist John Cooper with conservative Dan Sullivan. And I'm sure that you could hear all these kind of fights going on all over GOP county committees all over the nation. But several state county committees will have their conventions pretty soon, and then they will send delegates to this state convention. And a few delegates could make the difference. So if your county committee, find out where your county committee is, wherever you live, find out if they are conservative or not. If they are, help them. Show up to their meetings. If you can't show up, donate money. Let other people know about them. Find a way to get involved on that local level. That's at least the political way in terms of saving the nation. Obviously, we need a lot more reform. Of course, you need to build a relationship with God. You need to get out of financial debt. You be able to self-sustain yourself. Grow your own food. Be able to do those type of things. But as far as the politics in terms of saving this nation from collapse by the globalists, getting involved in your local Republican County Committee is the best way to do it. Do not go third party. There is no time, no feasible way for a third party to emerge. There may be a few third party candidates that might do some good, but as far overall, the Libertarians as well as the Constitution, the Patriot Party, they're just not. They just don't have the feasibility of the organization to get themselves together to make a major difference in terms of passing laws, getting rid of rules and regulations, getting in the power to pass the laws that are needed to save this, at least part of this nation. There are parts of the United States of America that are gone. The parts of the southern border, they are overrun with illegal aliens. There's parts of San Francisco, it's run with druggies and illegals. There are parts of the nation now where the criminals are allowed to go free. They are rewarded. They are given taxpayer funds. And if you try to defend yourself, if you try to be a normal U.S. citizen, you are punished. They just recently arrested a grandma for praying at the Capitol because she was there on January 6th, while illegals with multiple rap sheets a mile long are allowed to let go and murder people, like Laken Riley, like Rudy Garcia, like Dominic Durden, and like so many others, victims of illegal alien crime that the media tries to hide, like Kate Steinle. And then when those illegals commit those heinous crimes, they're oftentimes let go even after that. And so it's a completely backwards justice system. And so I think part of the nation has already fallen. Like, it would be a benefit if communist China or Russia or some other army with a flag and soldiers were to land their troops and invade there, it would be an improvement. And that's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why they're poisoning our minds, they're poisoning our food. They are, China is responsible for the fentanyl outbreak, along with the help of corrupt Central and South American government officials and our government. I mean, we are fast tracking it, just like the Oxy outbreak. Government deliberately did that, and they targeted rural areas. They wanted the meth explosion, just like when Bush and Clinton did the crack cocaine epidemic in mainly black neighborhoods. It's the same thing. They're just poisoning us on all levels. And sadly, a lot of Republicans that claim to fight against this agenda really don't. They just hire consultants like Impact Management or Caldwell Consulting to make it look like they really care, and then when they get in the office, they just do the bidding of the special interest. And again, that's the fight that we're having to deal with in the Republican Party of Arkansas. So folks, that's about it. I'll upload this onto my Rumble page as well as my Keep Arkansas Legal YouTube page. Like, share, and comment. I'll also post some donation links. If you like what you see, you can chip in a few bucks. I'm also working on a merchandise deal. Some designs for some t-shirts, other apparel, and swag that you can get that helps fund this wonderful project. And I will catch you all later.